Hi all, Lee and Harry here from Learn to Business. Thank you very much for watching. As you can see, we're having to revert to a slightly different format for obvious reasons. Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of marketing. Now, I guess, as you can imagine, to accountants, what on earth do we know about marketing? Well, it's quite an obvious answer in that nothing. We know absolutely nothing about marketing. But what we do want to do is just try and show a little bit, talk a bit about our journey so far, what we're doing, what our plan is. And if there are any marketers out there with their head in their hands as they listen to what we have to say, then please do comment in the comment box below and share any ideas that you might have for the wider community. And I guess, Harry, certainly probably the first place to start is around social media.
Yeah, and I think for us and for most small businesses in the kind of current era, marketing is essentially social media is the largest part of that. And for us, social media is a little bit alien because I think historically we've not really been that active social media users from a personal perspective. So in that aspect, it's been quite an uphill learning curve for us, both in terms of what type of thing do we need to post, how often do we need to post, what's the best way to post it in order to reach the kind of best audience. And we've had to educate ourselves, I think, quite a lot about that, haven't we? But I think one point I wanted to touch on this, and it kind of touches on a couple of themes from our previous videos, is when you are putting things on social media, I think there's this part of you where you become quite concerned around, I'm putting myself out here, is it going to come across like cringy? Are people going to be judging me? Am I going to get kind of trolled or any of that stuff? And I think it's one of these where the two themes I was going to come on to was, there's the whole kind of minimum viable product of you could want to do something to death and make sure you've got it absolutely perfectly before you're putting it out there. But the problem with that is that you need to be doing it in order to make it perfect. So you kind of just need to just crack on with it and you'll get better as you go. And hopefully that's the case with me and Lee, because as I said, very limited experience in a lot of the stuff other than the financial background of it. The kind of putting ourselves out there, presenting ourselves, putting ourselves on social media is all completely new. So there's that kind of thing, and it's just learning as we go. And the other one is going back to our reason why. And when you've got a strong reason why and you know what your end goal is, then you force yourself to get over that feeling of, am I going to get judged? And that feeling of discomfort, because you know that if I do this, it's going to get me close to my goal. So like, who cares what people think? I'm going for it. I don't know if you get anything else to add in terms of your thoughts on social media, Lee.
No, well, I think thankfully we've not been trolled as of yet. Maybe that would be quite an interesting landmark when we do. But I think for us, it's definitely been, the consistency has been pretty important for us, both from a learning curve perspective, but also just to try and build our profile a little bit more. You know, we've now got 140 followers, I think, or so on Instagram. So thank you very much for all those who have subscribed and followed so far. And I think it's quite interesting, actually. My mindset has shifted quite a lot. So previously, when I used to see people posting on social media, as you say, I wasn't very commonly using social media before, but I was quite passive. And I think now, whenever I see somebody trying to promote their business or service, you know, I do simple things like liking and comments and following, subscribing, or sharing what those guys are doing. And I think from their perspective a lot more, because, you know, it takes quite a lot to do, you know, put yourself out there. And as you say, just put your fears and concerns aside. And I guess certainly for us, what we want to do, so obviously we're looking to try and help businesses and help people who want to learn more about the financial side of running their business. We're quite alive to the fact that some of the content is pretty dry. You know, we do get that. So what we're trying to do is deliver things in a fun and engaging way. Yet you're trying to do something as unnatural as talking to a camera, which, let's be honest, we've never done before. So it's trying to deal with that dynamic a little bit more. I think that's what I'd say as the main challenges so far.
Yeah, it's a definite learning curve for us, and another thing that I guess just thinking about what we've intentionally done, as well as make sure we're kind of interacting with people through Instagram, both because it kind of, I think it helps with Instagram generally if you're more active. I think it makes your stuff get seen a bit more, but also it's a case of making sure you're giving and not just expecting to receive a lot of interactions. You need to be kind of giving people kudos, because me and Lee have kind of put ourselves out there, and I think it took us a bit to make ourselves do that. And it was a bit uncomfortable at times doing it, like Lee said, making yourself talking to a camera. But kind of having gone through that ourselves, I think we've gained a bit of a newfound respect for people who do put themselves out there. So it's a case of just giving those people a pat on the back and doing what little we can to help those businesses as well. And I think in addition to that, what another thing we've done intentionally is our branding. We thought of, I think from seeing other businesses that intentionally use sort of one colour or one sort of logo, and it's absolutely plastered on everything that they do. We're hoping it's going to be helpful in terms of people will see our content, they'll see the colours and the Learn to Business font, etc., and they'll immediately be able to tell that this is our content. And it's a case of posting consistently and posting sort of consistently time-wise and also consistently in what we are posting. And obviously the struggle at the minute is this isn't what we're doing right now isn't necessarily consistent with that, but you kind of have to adapt to the situation and do what you can. But one other thing I think we wanted to cover on this is where we are on our journey and on the wider plan. So in terms of how Learn to Business came about, I think it was your idea originally, Lee. I think we'd both been reading kind of similar types of books, like 4 Hour Work Week, which you might be able to see behind me. I don't know, it might be covered by my big head.
Yeah, just
then, but I think, and we were saying like it's something we're both interested in. I think we've both kind of, despite being accountants, we've both kind of got a bit of entrepreneurial spirit within us, and it's something that we've always kind of both wanted to do. And Lee had the idea of what are our strengths, what can we kind of give back, and our kind of common financial background of being accountants made that kind of an easy go-to. And it's a case of, can we make that a bit more accessible to people who are starting a business who might not necessarily have that same financial background.
And I think as we do move forward, I think one thing we're mindful of is how do you actually gauge your progress. So obviously we've got a website, and there's not been many people who've hit the website, so hint for those people. But at the moment, I guess we are looking at the vanity metrics at the moment. It's just a case of, followers, likes, subscribes, comments, that kind of thing. But I think it's an important first step just to actually form some kind of trust and just a basis, a foundation platform first. People get to know us. They might like us, they might not. If they don't like us, we kind of know sooner rather than later, and we'll probably start doing this in a relatively short order. But I think moving forward, I think we need to think about more real targets as to, well, what actually should we classify as success? Is it people who do want to subscribe for the course? Is it people who just randomly pick up the phone to us and speak to us? And I guess moving forward, what we probably want to do more of is not just think about the social media side. It's a case of engaging with real people and real businesses. So, for example, we're going to be speaking to organizations, nearby business networks, universities, just to see what we can offer. And it's kind of a mutual thing. I think you might have heard the expression, your network is your net worth. And we've met some interesting people so far, and I hope that we're going to meet lots of interesting people moving forward as well.
I think that's right, Lee. And I think for me, it's almost, if our front foot approach is, if we can give whatever we can around giving people access to that financial information, then hopefully at some point we'll start to get something ourselves out of it. But I think the main focus is giving people the content, giving people the confidence, putting ourselves out there. And if nothing else from this, then I think we've both learned an awful lot in terms of new skills like speaking to cameras, etc. And all of the areas around having your own business. I think it's all new to us. And anytime you're doing something you've not done before, you're kind of growing as a person. And if that's all we get out of it, then I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. I think in terms of the practical stuff that we're doing around marketing, it's essentially a mixture of what we said previously around a consistency of brand and consistency of posting, but it's also kind of trying to understand and do a few almost experiments in terms of what are the best hashtags for us to use in order to get the widest reach to the kind of audience we want to reach, not just a case of just reaching however many people we can, because I think we could end up with like 5,000, 10,000 followers, but if they're all kind of random kind of bots and that type of thing, and people are just trying to kind of sell us stuff, then that is the kind of the definition of a vanity matrix, and we've not really kind of grown the brand at all in that circumstance. So it's making sure we're reaching the right people, trying to use hashtags. And I think as a next step, what we'll probably start doing is playing with things like Facebook ads and promoting our posts on Instagram, just to see, are those things useful? Are they helping us or not? And it's kind of just work as you go and figure out what works and what doesn't. But I think, Lee, that's everything that we were planning on covering. So I think for me, it's been pretty enjoyable actually, just to take a bit of a step back and look at where are we kind of in our journey, and what are we gaining from this, and what's our plan going forward. And hopefully for people watching, it's useful to hear from people who are on possibly a similar journey to yourself, and maybe there's some useful pointers in there, or maybe this is just a load of mumbo jumbo from two accountants who are going a little bit crazy from yet another lockdown, who knows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I guess thank you very much all for watching. If you did get this far, and then if you are able to like and subscribe, we think it will help us at least. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.